This episode of Small Town Western New York was made possible by the following supporters. Hi, on this episode of Small Town Western New York, I'm taking a day trip to a place that from the first moment I laid my eyes upon its quintessentially all-American collegiately charged Main Street, well, it was love at first sight. I simply adore this town. You know, it reminds me of one of those old classic Hollywood film college towns I'd like to tease you with. But the thing is, those don't exist. But this one really does. And it's tucked right into the hills and valleys of beautiful Allegheny County. I'm headed to the village of Alfred. The very first settlers arrived in the Alfred area in 1785 through 1807, with many being sons of the soldiers of the Revolution and soldiers of the War of 1812 themselves. The town was actually formed from another beautiful little town a few miles away named Angelica on March 11th, 1808. And you can't even speak the name Alfred without mentioning the colleges here. Soon after the town began, Alfred University sprung up in December of 1836 as part of the Alfred Select Teachers College and is one of the oldest coeducational institutions in the entire country. And for a town this small, it's astonishing that it actually holds not one, not two, but three colleges: Alfred University, Alfred State College, and the New York State College of Ceramics at Alfred University, which is a statutory college of State University of New York operated by Alfred University on behalf of the SUNY Board of Trustees. Did you follow all that? The village actually has 5 recognized places on the National Register of Historic Places: Alfred Village Historic District, Alumni Hall, Fireman's Hall, Allen Steiner Museum, and the Terracotta Building behind me. The terracotta tile industry really brought prosperity and notoriety to the village over the last century. I began my day in town with a walk through the grounds of Alfred University, where I met up with its president to talk about all that this incredible place encompasses.
Well, Tony, we're thrilled you're here. Alfred got started in 1836. It's had a long-standing commitment to inclusivity. Our first class had 22 women and 14 men, wow. And it's the first fully coeducational school. Oberlin admitted women before we did. We were the second to admit women, but at Oberlin, if you were female, you couldn't give public talks. You couldn't major in all the things they offered. It had to be something like home economics.
You said when we were walking up the stairs earlier that this started with, what, about 20-some students?
Oh, the initial class was 36, was 22 women, 14 men. Wow. And part of that group was our second president and his wife, who taught for us for many years. And there's a sign to Abigail Allen. She was pivotal in the suffragette movement. Yep. A big reason why we were so open to women had to do with the founders and the initial batch of students that kept building on that DNA.
You have such a diversified student body, and you have such a diversified selection of majors. Is there any one? I mean, it's a ceramics is really what we've known.
This is called Silica Valley because of all the clay deposits. And we were struggling in the early 1900s. Because there were a number of other schools that were funded by the Seventh-day Baptists and money was running short. So our first plan was to go and say, look, let us be the flagship and get the lion's share of the money. That didn't work out. Plan B was to appeal to then Governor Teddy Roosevelt and say, set up a college. So we have a statutory college in ceramics, like Cornell has statutory colleges, and that's given us our strength in ceramics and glass.
Enter this guy. And when I grow up, I want to be just like him. His name is Rob Price, and of course, he happens to be the writer for Alfred University's Marketing and Communications Department. Rob and I ran into one another as I was quizzically wandering around town trying to make sense of the place.
You have the university and you have local people who are farmers, store owners, shop owners, craftsmen, tradesmen, the people who know how to build things with their own hands. Right. And that's part of the whole personality of Alfred. People around here build their own stuff. We make our own stuff. We can make our own furniture. We learn how to do that. We can make our own houses.
Well, we
can build our own house. Yeah.
I really do think you feel that. It's almost like there's an intangible sense of something here. I've been trying to figure it out since I first came to town. I mean, for me, I'm sensitive to this stuff, and that's why I do what I do, I'm sure. But when you're here, there's something else going on, and I've been able to put my finger on it.
It's a little bit
It's a maker's community.
It's a maker's community. It's a little bit of the
Right.
the tradition of self-reliance.
Right.
My wife and I moved up here. People told us that, oh, it's just like a New England community, a small town in New England.
Right.
Well, if you look around, it's nothing like a small town in New England.
No.
This is Western New York. It's very gritty.
Right.
The economy is much slower here.
Right.
So you don't come to this place to enjoy chicken françaises in a French restaurant.
That's a great way to put it.
Which is good, because
Yeah,
there aren't any French restaurants around here.
That's an appropriate
So,
thing to say.
I mean, you come here to experience a very, very down-to-earth feel
Right.
in the community.
I eventually ended my day at Alfred University Ceramic Art Museum. I met up with its director, Wayne Higby, to learn a little bit more about the university and the museum.
Alfred has a reputation globally as the place you go to study ceramics.
Right.
So
Yes,
that's the
sure.
logic of why would you have a ceramic art museum in this location.
Yeah, and this is why, right? Because it's just a renowned university for this field.
Yeah, and the art school is probably, I would guess, the only art school, certainly in this country, maybe in the world, that grew from a ceramic root, from people making pots.
So this
And
is the
tile.
first and only one of its type.
Probably the only one of its type, because now what we have here is a multimedia art school.
Right.
The exhibition is by, it's work by William Underhill.
Okay.
So it's William Underhill casting a legacy.
Okay.
So he cast almost all of his work in metal.
Oh, so
It's all metal, it's not ceramic.
which is that new for you guys to display somebody's work in a different?
Not absolutely new, but it's an opportunity that was when I agreed to be the director of the museum, I changed the mission statement. Apropos of what we just talked about the ceramic route
Sure.
and the full-blown art school. So I said, if we're going to be an art museum, we're going to show work in all media,
Right.
you know, in the exhibition cycle.
Well, that's beautiful.
But
though.
we're going to collect only in ceramic art.
Gotcha.
So the archive is ceramic art.
So what can I say about Alfred? I can make an attempt to wax poetic until I run out of words, and I still don't think I'm able to capture exactly what it is that makes this place so special. I simply love it here. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's a true classic all-American town, sitting in this incredibly scenic valley, surrounded by these gorgeous hills with just the perfect amount of infrastructure. I'm happy I was able to share this place with you. It's truly become one of my favorite places, not only in Western New York, but anywhere. This episode of Small Town Western New York was made possible by the following supporters.